So the annual tax declaration deadline is 3 months after the completion of the financial year. So apart from declaring those transactions in annual tax declaration annexures, they also have to work for preparing the transfer pricing local file. For non-compliance, there's penalty of obstruction of tax liabilities 5 million Khmer Rial.
I'm B2B Cambodia's Darshana. Thanks for watching. We'll be covering annual compliances in 3 parts: tax, ACAR, and labor, with Mr. Babulal Parihar, Director of Lochan Co. Hello, Mr. Babulal. Thank you so much for having us here at the Lochan Co office to discuss annual compliances.
Thank you, Darshana, for finding the time to visit us, and this is the important time to discuss about annual compliances as the year is about to finish on 31st of December 2025.
Could you start by giving us a bit of an overview on the main annual compliances regarding tax that businesses should be aware of as we close off 2025?
So the annual tax declaration deadline is 3 months after the completion of the financial year. So basically, the companies registered in Cambodia, operating in Cambodia, are required to submit their annual tax before 31st March 2026. As well as the another tax important deadline that we all should be knowing is about renewing of the patent tax licenses. Mm-hmm. So for different enterprises, based on their sizes, tax department has classified into small taxpayers, medium taxpayers, and large taxpayers. They have the different patent tax amount that they are supposed to pay. But again, the deadline for renewing of the patent tax certificate is also the 31st of March 2026. So these are the 2 important things that comes in my mind when we talk about the completion of the financial year and the important compliances we should be taking care related to the tax.
And are there any new annual tax compliances that business should be aware of this year?
New tax compliances that is important this year to be complied is related to the transfer pricing, which has been introduced in 2024 but become applicable from the 1st January 2025. So this is practically the first year for implementation of that transfer pricing compliance, wherein companies who are having related party transactions. So apart from declaring those transactions in annual tax declaration annexures, they also have to work for preparing the transfer pricing local file. Mm-hmm. And that has been defined that what are the different related party transactions they have during the financial year, as well as the different benchmarks they have selected for showing the arm's length pricing. There are certain exemptions, but that is a new prakash which need to be taken care by those companies working in Cambodia.
And what are the penalties that businesses can expect to face if they fail to fulfill their tax obligations on time?
So if we talk about the law, and if the enterprises fail to submit the annual tax declaration, then there is an obstruction of tax liability. So that tax liability previously it was $500, but now it has been increased to $1,250 in Khmer Rial, basically 5 million Khmer Rial. Practically, the scenario may be different, that unless and until the tax department sent them the notice about their non-compliance of the annual tax declarations, then only the penalty may be applicable. And until that, the penalty may not be applicable. But if you ask me about the law, yes, the law says that for non-compliance, there's penalty of obstruction of tax liabilities 5 million Khmer Rial.
Also, another thing that businesses should be doing is applying for their tax compliance certificates, and for which there are 3 levels of compliance. There's bronze, silver, and gold, right?
Yeah.
So could you tell us a little bit about what benefits there are for if a business receives gold compliance status, for example?
The tax department of Cambodia has introduced these different classifications of certificates based on different weightage of the points. And these points are defined by the tax department based on the level of compliance the enterprises are following. So the total criteria are 20, and out of 20, enterprises following 16 to 20, they can apply for the gold status certificate.
Mm-hmm.
Between 11 to 15, they can apply for the silver compliance certificate. And those 1 to 10, they can go for the bronze one. Now, mostly the organizations go for the gold status certificate. So once they have this gold status certificate, first of all, they will not be falling under the routine tax audit. Mm-hmm. So as the tax audit is applicable to the on basis of different criteria by the tax department, but then those enterprises who have gold status certificate, they will not be falling under the routine tax audit from the tax department. That's the most important one. Second one is that if those enterprises are going for the VAT refund, then they will not be going through the VAT audit. Again, there is certain amount has been specified that let's say for the gold status certificate, up to the 500 million Khmer Real, if the VAT refund is there, then they don't have to go through the VAT audit. So these are the two. But if you ask me more, then yes, more is about credibility in the eyes of the tax department, credibility in the eyes of client and investors. This all matters a lot when the client, they go for the gold certificates.